Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Glad you could attend. Yes, here we are once again with another Final Cut episode. So glad you could join us today as we look at an indie film, but it's not an indie horror this time. It is not an independent horror film. No. This is actually an independent crime thriller called Big Trouble in Seattle. Okay, it doesn't roll off as well as Big Trouble in Little China, but Big Trouble in Seattle is brought to us by David Fowler, who directed and wrote this story about Brittany, whose mother is caught in an explosion, and soon we see how Brittany works to try to find those from the underworld that caused her mother's death. But things get sticky as we run across corrupt cops, we run across corrupt officials, and just a city that is in trouble thanks to the head of this underground organization, who may or may not just get away with murder. And we see how Brittany deals with all of this in Big Trouble in Seattle. This surprised me quite a bit. Crime thrillers are a bit tough to pull off on indie films, at least entertaining wise, namely because you're not playing on your normal tropes of horror. You have to build up the tension. You have to, construct a world, an underworld that people are going to buy into. And David Fowler does all this. This is a well-crafted crime thriller for an indie production, I think. I loved how the story played out and the characters that he came up with. It went to some places I did not expect this film to go in a pleasant way. The editing, too, was fantastic. I really enjoyed how they pieced this together. It didn't really run into any pacing issues at all. And so, yeah, it keeps things moving. And the cinematography in this film is fantastic for the type of film it is. We get wide shots, we get moving shots. There's this really cool shot to where it's moving towards the window and logo of this pub, and then the camera goes through a seamless cut, and then you're on the other side and you're following this, and you follow it to it's a coffee shop, I think it is actually, and you're following it, and then the waiter, it's just very well planned out. You could see some care was definitely taken into account when doing these shots and setting them up, and it kept things visually entertaining and the film moving. Now, the performances in here I really enjoyed as well. Tomas Baskin as Jamal Harold, really enjoyed his character quite a bit. I really connected with him. He was fun to watch on screen, and his character got a lot more involved than you might first think that his character would, and I liked that quite a bit because I really enjoyed his performance. Emily Schewel plays Brittany. Now, I thought I recognized her. She played Marjorie in Z Nation, which is a great show, and in here she's exercising them acting chops and really putting in a great performance as Brittany, the girl who's looking for justice for the death of her mother and finding out things that she is not quite happy she's finding out about. And then there is Raz Mallard as Lamar Watkins. His screen presence in this film is exactly what you want for the Watkins character. Every scene he was in, he filled it, he chewed the scene up, and you believed this guy was that character, right? Just very charismatic, but also very scary. Giovanni Acatola as Dre. This is a character that I just could not get behind, but you're not supposed to. They do give him a little bit of an arc, but the way they wrote him is really a guy you just want to, shake, but there's reasons for it and some motivation for sure. It's shot on an independent budget, so it's shot on a lower budget, but they really make a lot with what they're given. I would say the only thing that did feel a little bit rough in spots was the audio. The audio in some spots was a bit rough, but you run into that with independent productions. So, but they use actual weapons in here, and the special effects that they use in here actually work pretty well for the most part. There's just one effect effects shot. Maybe, you could tell that it showed at budget, but other than that, we actually get some gunfights and such going on in this film, and especially some stunt work that I found very impressive. So overall, Big Trouble in Seattle is a solid independent crime thriller that if you like indie films but looking for something other than indie horror, you may want to check out. I'll put as much information as I can down below for this film. If you have seen Big Trouble in Seattle, please let me know. I'd love to hear your constructive thoughts. Check out our Patreon and all that good stuff there. Hit the bell, the thumbs up, and subscribe here. I thank you for your support, and until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.